the logical and orderly process, because from that day onward, I was never the same. He said, first of all, you talk to people and you separate prospects from suspects. You make sure that the person you're talking to can and will buy your product or service if he likes it. You don't spend time with people who don't have any money or have no interest or have no need for what you're selling. So the first part of professional selling is prospecting. And you'll find that if you want to be successful in selling, you must become very, very good at prospecting. So the second part is building trust with the prospect or the customer. People will not buy from you. People will not even seriously listen to you unless they like you and they trust you. Now here's an interesting discovery. The biggest obstacle to finding new customers is the fear of rejection. Is we're afraid that customers will be negative or insulting or disapproving. We're afraid of rejection, which is quite normal. And we're afraid of failure. So the fears of failure combined with rejection hold us back from calling on people. And here's what we've discovered, that everyone starts off in life with low self-esteem and high fears. But as your self-esteem goes up, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. As your self-esteem goes up, your fears go down. And the more you like yourself, the more courage you have, the less afraid you are, the more willing you are to call on more people. Now, if you call on lots of people, eventually you become good at prospecting. When you're good at prospecting, you lose your fear. In fact, you start to enjoy calling on new people. So the starting point of sales success is calling on new people, and that starts off with high levels of self-esteem. I've worked with people. I remember talking to a man recently. He said he started off in sales, but he had low self-esteem. He said, but he quit in 1 week because he could not tolerate the rejection. The rejection, he said, I just was too weak to take the rejection. Too many people said no, I just quit. And he was doing very poorly in life, but the rejection, he said, it was too much for me. I could not accept so much rejection because he had low self-esteem. The second thing we know is establishing trust and likability is the more you like yourself, the more you like other people. The more you like other people, the more they like you and are willing to listen to you and to buy from you. We find that there's a one-to-one relationship between your level of self-esteem and your level of sales. High self-esteem salespeople are the highest earning salespeople in the world. In fact, they did a study with a major company, and they took 2 groups of sales candidates and they gave them tests. One group had average self-esteem, and they put them through 3 months of training and then sent them out to sell. The other group had high levels of self-esteem, and they sent them out to sell with no training at all. Can you guess what happened? Within 6 months, the group with no training at all, but high self-esteem, was selling 2 and 3 times as much as the fully trained group with low self-esteem. Because the extension of self-esteem is self-confidence. Gives you high levels of self-confidence. I have 4 beautiful children, and I've written and spoken a lot about children in my life. But when my children were born, I studied personality development in children, and I learned that the #1 most important thing that a parent can give their child is high self-esteem, is to build them up continually so that when they grow up, they feel positive about themselves. They have high levels of self-confidence. They like themselves and they like other people. And if you just do that by constantly building your children, you will have done the most important thing that a parent is responsible for. You don't have to give them more money or cars or clothes. All those things are of secondary importance. What's most important is how they feel about themselves, which is largely determined by how their parents treat them when they're young. So self-esteem, self-confidence, and building trust with customers is absolutely essential. Now, the third part of selling is identifying needs, is finding out the customer's situation by asking them a lot of questions. Now we know that for a customer to buy, they must have one of three things. They must have a need that has not been satisfied. For instance, if you sell headache pills, they must have a headache. They must have the need. You never try to create a need when you sell. You try to find someone who already needs the benefits of what you sell and then talk to them and try to get them to buy your product rather than your competitors. Or a good prospect must have a problem that has not been solved. And so when you ask questions, you're looking for the need or the problem. Or third of all, a good prospect must have a goal that they want to achieve. Maybe it's financial independence. Maybe it's ideal health. They must have a goal that they want to achieve, and your job is to show them how your product or service will help them to achieve that goal. So in the third phase of selling, what you do is you ask a lot of questions to find out how you can help this person to satisfy a need or solve a problem or achieve a goal. Now here's an interesting discovery based on 25 years of research and tens of millions of dollars and 55,000 interviews and videotaped sales conversations between salespeople and customers. What we found is this, is that if you sell out of sequence, you kill the sale. And this is a real eye-opener for me. Most people have never seen this research. It costs millions of dollars. It was paid for by several large companies who are trying to find ways to sell more effectively. What we found is that there is a logical buying process that a customer goes through. And so therefore you have to get your selling process so that it dovetails or fits with the buying process. If you do that, the sale comes out every time. Top salespeople can sell to 4 out of 5 people that they talk to. Poor salespeople can maybe sell to 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20, which is why salespeople who are well-skilled are some of the highest paid people in our society. So what I learned is you can never talk about your product or service until you have asked a lot of questions to discover whether or not this person really needs what you're selling. So no matter what happens in the short term, always predict growth. Always predict growth in your life, always predict growth in your work, always predict growth in your family, always predict growth, and you know something? You will be right most of the time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.